Alright, this looks like it's working. So, just to set you up a little bit here, this is the mission I had used for F-18 training on the Kola map, and take off from Rovaniemi, and I set up a bunch of targets here north of the airfield. But what I did afterwards when I got the F4, and it was something I had thought of ahead of time, is that I added the F4s to the mission so that I could go bomb some targets there with the different weaponry that I have. So I have some F4 with Mark 82s, with some Mark 83s. I even put some with Rockeyes or CBU 87s. And now what I want to do is this part here that I added, the SA6 sight. I'm going to try to go for the SA6, try to get it to launch a few missiles, see if I can hit it with the Shrike missiles. I've also brought some Mavericks. If I can't hit it with the Shrike, I can hit it with the Mavericks. I also have my gun, and I have some CBU 87s in the center. Because the distance is not too far, I probably won't need any extra fuel. That's why I'm not bringing a fuel tank on this one. So it's just a training mission. Might not be able to do it the first time. SA6s can be worthy adversaries, but I'm getting pretty good at evading them. Basically, if you're heading straight for it, of course it's probably going to hit you, but if you notch, like turning left or right 90 degrees like that, it's going to have a hard time tracking you, and then you can go up and down, dropping chaff and flares, and that can be a way to do that. So maybe one of the things I could do, you can see there's a lot of planes there. I could just double check that I have my countermeasures, and yes, I've got 120 chaff. This is what the loadout looks on the plane. I've made sure that the fusing for the Shrike is the type that will work for a straight flush. This is the SA6 radar, so I took that. You can see I have 2 Mavericks as well, and in the middle I have those 4 bombs. And so there. That's the whole idea. So it's going to be a little bit like a Wild Weasel mission. I know that the F4, they had like the G version that was made for that, but since in DCS we have the F-4E, I'm going to go attempt it with that just for fun and for training and for, you know, practicing evading missiles and all that good stuff. So hopefully you enjoy the flight. Should be a fun one. I don't know if I'll be able to get it the first time, so we might need to redo it. That's the whole point. We're training. So let's go have fun with that. Yeah. I'm not reading the briefing because it's mainly the briefing I had written for the F-18s and the bombing mission. This is a new addition to the map. So as you can see, we have 4-1 and 4-2 that have the Shrike and Mavs. So I'll go with 4-1. This refueler also is a refueler for the F-18s. It's not the right one for the F4, so I won't be able to do that either. There. I think I did put like a small part of a briefing here which says at waypoint 3 you have an SA6 site that needs to be destroyed. Your initial loadout for 4-1 is 2 Shrike with fuses for SA6 and AGM-65B Mavericks. 4-2 has the infrared version, so that's the idea. So now let's set up our cockpits. So as you can see right now, it's set for the Mavericks because they do take a while to warm up, but I'm going to go with the anti-radar, and we'll set it up on the AGM-45. What I remember in one of my last missions, when it's set to that setting, you can hear the tone of the missile. Sometimes the missile won't fire, so I think you have to put it to direct to fire. Could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we'll see how that goes. Let's just remove the stick so we can see that area better. So yeah, this is the plane. This is what it looks like. So fairly good loadout there. One of the things I will do on the ground is my bomb table. If I do need to use the bombs, which are going to be the CBU 87s, I'm probably going to drop them above 3,000. I think the target is about 1,000 feet up. I'll go check after that. This, let's go check just to be sure. Wrong key. So this SA6 site, the altitude is, yeah, it's about 1,000 feet, 1,076. So we could put 1,080. That's good, good. So if we go back to our bombing table, that'll be good. And I'll set this to 0.1, but it's not important for now. But the fact that the different elements have been included in there will make it easier to tell Jester once I'm in flight. I won't have to fill all that in. If you're wondering how I got this black background, it's now a new option that we have in the main menu, in the special options. I think it's the UI menu. You can set it to dark. It used to be when the F4 came out that you have some white pages for some skins and the darker page like this for some other skins, like the German skins. And now they've made it a choice in the menu in special. I think that's a really good idea. The problem with the white is that, let's say your mouse is here, it's that yellow thing, and then when you put it over this, sometimes it turns into like the white arrow and you can't see it on a white background like this. So if it's a black background like this, I can really set this up much faster. Like when you're doing it on the fly, it really, really helps. So that way I'll be able to tell Jester about this and this once we are in the target area if we need to drop the bombs. So that's set. The rest I think is good. So we're just gonna get ready to taxi. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're almost at the beginning of the runway there. Checking all my switches on my HOTAS. That looks good. Maybe set this to AG.
This is the best job in the world. Let's do it.
I think what I'll do is I'll set my reticle for 35 mils. I think 35 mils is actually good for guns. The Mavericks are more like 45, so yeah, let's set the Mavericks. It's also going to work well for the Shrike. Gives you a good idea of where to point the nose. Nobody in the pattern. Love those brake sounds. There we go. Running up.
Engine good, airspeed off the peg. 80 knots. There's 100. Gears moving. Mud, 1 o'clock. SA6.
We've already detected that there's an SA6 here.
Gear up.
see here on the RWR where it is roughly. I'm gonna climb. It'll give the missile a little bit more range. And if I need to evade, I can go up and down, fuse the enemy missiles. If I go back to my map here, you'll see we're here, we're heading there. I think my flight plan, yeah, it takes me there and then it sort of brings me in a line to this.
Alrighty, steering to next turn point is in.
Now the next steer point is more or less when I get in range for the enemy missiles, so it's 10 miles away. So within the next 10 miles we're going to start to see some action. So I'm going to
left
stabilize.
22 miles, 19,500.
That target he sees is the refueler. I'm going to stay below the clouds just so that I can look like that in front if I see a missile going up. When Jester tells me Singer, I'll be able to see it. I might also use like the outside view like this just so you'll see a little bit better what I'm doing. You see right now there is a launch.
That's Singer, 12 o'clock, SA6.
You can look at it there. What I'll do is I'll myself for direct. I'll try to shoot a missile.
Next turn point is in.
Missile away, and let's drop chaff and flares. Well, mostly chaff because that's what we've got. So I think I've defeated the first missile. Do our best to defeat the second one. They'll probably shoot some more at us. That's what we want. The missile needs to have something to look for. So I'm going to shoot a missile as he's shooting at me. There we go. And I'm going to evade again. Cut down some trees. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this here to TV. Turn these on. And I'm going to start my timer because I need 3 minutes to get the Mavericks warmed up. And we're going to try to keep the SA6 at our 9 o'clock. I'm doing that by checking this here. And I'm trying to get progressively closer like that to the missile site so that I'll be in range to fire a Maverick. about a minute done in our timer. Let's see if he wants to fire at us again. If I can get him to expend most of his missiles, then it'll be less dangerous. Trying to see where we are. We're getting pretty close. Earlier I was able to get in close enough that I actually shot him with my guns.
Next turn point is updated.
Okay, I see them there. That's where they are. So that means I could actually go to guns. But I want to train using my Mavericks. So let's see how our timer is doing. I think we've got our 3 minutes. So let's set this to TV. And yes, our Mavericks are now active, so we can stop the stopwatch, reset that. So now we'll turn around. Every hilltop looks like the other one, yeah. Okay, I just passed them here. What I'll do is I think I'll reset the waypoint. If I'm not mistaken, my waypoint is more or less on them. Yeah, okay. So I'll go to waypoint 3 with Jester. Come on, Jester, help me out. Go to 1.3.
Will go. New steering set.
I'm going to set a hold on that waypoint.
Steering pause.
So now we have a distance to waypoint, 5 miles, 6 miles. We'll move a little further. If he's still active, I'm still a little bit in danger, so I'm going to dive for now, and then I'll turn around and see if I can spot him for a Maverick shot. Nine miles, that should be good. position myself on the waypoint precisely like that, and now try to visually spot where they are.
We got a stinger
spot
right on our
where they
nose.
are because they're shooting at me.
Missile, missile, missile. 12 o'clock.
I think I might have spoofed him. Fired another missile, so try to put him somewhere where he's not gonna be able to hit us. I know he's right there. So now let's try to get ourselves a missile on this. I want to crash. Let's pop up. I think I only see the trees, so we'll have to do another pass. Yeah, I wasn't looking really in the right spot. How are we doing on fuel? We're okay. Gets that held up, like right over there. Nope.
Watch out for that stinger. 11 o'clock. SA-6. Missile, 10 o'clock. I think I'm hit. Nah, vision's going a bit blurry.
Yep, that didn't work out too well. I was expecting that to happen. When I got really close at the beginning, I should have just switched to guns because I can do a better job with guns than Mavericks at that point. Mavericks are better at long distance. When you get really close and you get confused, it's not good. But you know what? We have other planes, so I'll just go to the observer spot. One of the things we can do as observer is we can click on this and say, well, do you have any missiles left? That might have been like their last missile they fired at me. So I'm pretty much out of luck for that, but the good news is if I go back, they don't have much to shoot at me because they'd have to reload. So let's choose slot and take the same plane, because I do want to practice with that kind of a Maverick. So this time we'll get in our plane, we'll leave this on TV, set these up, set that up, setting my fuses ahead of time. This I can already set to TV. So this is good. There we go. And so right now the Mavericks are going to be in the correct, already active form, so that I'll be able to launch them. Let's go try that.
It all comes down to this. Here we go.
That last missile too, that probably one of the reasons why it was able to get us is that we weren't flying very fast.
Hey, we're going to be down in waterfowl territory in this flight?
Oh, there's a chance we might do that.
Okay, okay. I'm feeling good. How's it? Roger that. Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive. 80 knots. 100 knots. Woohoo! We're going to fly. Flaps up. Gears moving. Mud, 1 o'clock. SA6. Gear up. Okay. Okay, new steering set. Steering is paused.
So now I've set my autopilot on altitude hold. We're pretty much going to head straight for them. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to check if they had reloaded their missiles. I didn't put any supply trucks, but oh look, this one has 1 missile. So yes, it means that they can still shoot at us. So we will have to be careful. Now, distance is 22 miles. I guess I could activate the camera, my Maverick, if if I turn the master arm on. There we go. Usually you have a friend go towards the missile site, keep him busy shooting at him while you get lined up for your shot. I'm all by myself now. I'm happy to say that the RWR is very precise, because it seems to, when I put my line here right on the waypoint, this lines up right with me. So let's look down and see if we spot anything. Distance is 12 miles. I'm gonna go full military power. So our speed now 400. I think that might be the area there. 7 miles. Let's start entering a dive. I don't know if I'm looking at the right spot. There's a lot to take in. I think I'm not in the best of parameters. Dropped a few countermeasures. Yeah, I got within 1 or 2 miles. I had spotted it. Everything looks the same in this area here. That's why it's very tough. So let's cheat a little bit. Let's look at what this looks like. Okay, there's a lake there. These marshes there. Trying to see the shape of this. Okay. So that's where they are. It looks like sort of like a triple flower type of thing. We'll look for the triple flower type of thing. Center my missile. So now we're at about 12 miles. Looking for triple flower type of thing. There's some sort of a marsh nearby. I think I've spotted something that looks like that. So let's aim our nose that direction. Let's see if we can spot a SAM site in there. It's not there. Gonna be a little bit more to the left. Okay, is that the triple flower type of thing there? Yeah, it is. Okay, I got him. Rifle. Okay, I won't be able to shoot a second one, so let's bug out. Boom. So that was indeed the yeah, it was the radar. Now I can just shoot the launchers because they have nothing to guide them. And I have some bombs I can drop on the support trucks. And I have guns. Seven miles. Six miles. That's my triple flower and a little bit of smoke. There we go. That looks like a launcher right there. Just put my camera on it. Rifle. For that one, we can actually fly along and see how it does. And there it goes. Boom. So you can see that there are two launchers left plus the support vehicles. So I'm going to turn here and try to line up for a bomb run on the remaining vehicles. Now, as we move away, I'm going to set the autopilot, bring my bombing table. And before I do the bombing table, I will set the bomb spacing here to 1. Got 4 bombs, we'll drop 4 in a shot. I will arm my gun just so that it's ready when I'm ready to go. 4 bombs. In DT, we're bringing this back to 0. Got our nose tail, we've got center, dive toss, bombs, quantity, spacing, that's good. Now we're gonna tell that to Jester. Dive toss. CDU 87. Probably around 3,200. Target altitude is 1080. Bombing angle probably around 30 degrees. This will set it up to 1. Yeah, so tell Jester.
Roger that. Copy that.
It's going to enter the data where it needs to go. And now we'll turn off autopilot and head back towards the target. I'm gonna climb. I might even go into the clouds because I want a pretty steep dive on the target. One of the ways to be able to see things is you go inverted. For distance, okay. Okay, see the smoke. I think we're gonna have a good angle now. Let's check our speed. We're a bit fast.
Captured.
Bombs away. Like we did pretty well. There might be one launcher left. That's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 35. Set this to rockets and the spans, this to off. We're going to use the gun, just test it. Yeah, it's running. Spotted my smoke there. Let's dive and try to spot that last launcher. I see it. You can see some of the vehicles still exploding. Let's see if the gun's shooting straight. Looks like it is. I hit it, but I didn't destroy it, so I'm gonna have to do maybe one more pass. Good enough on fuel to do that. We've got 400 bullets left, we're good. Yeah, there we go. Set it on fire. That's what we wanted to do. And now this SAM site is pretty much demolished. Yeah, if I go F7, now we're back to the bomb targets. We're no longer on the SAM site. That means there's nothing left there. So what I'll do is I'll tell Chester if I can get that wheel to work properly. Holding. Deactivate.
You got it. That turn point is updated.
Thank you. And actually, oh yeah. Let's get the right one. So we'll just get out of the menu and head home. What's nice is I've been able to test pretty much all the weapons. Like on my first run I shot some Shrikes, got shot before I could shoot Mavericks, but then when I took the second plane I shot my Mavericks, got some hits with those, dropped my bombs. I'm kind of happy with what I did with the bombs, I wasn't too sure. And then the guns. So that pretty much covers a lot of the different things we can do with air to ground. From what I hear, the F-4 wasn't really designed to do like the type of mission I just did. Normally you would just drop a real heavy load of bombs into one location and bug out, just do a deep strike and go home. But since it served well into the 80s and 90s, and there are still some somewhat active today, I'm guessing people who use them might be using them in this type of mission. So it's interesting as a pilot for those sims to be able to simulate the different things and be able to use the different weapons to get the job done. Fun flying over the Kola Peninsula map that recently got released. Now we're going to be flying over the clouds. If we look at our map, the waypoint that we're going through here is the final. It's going to line us up on final for the runway. So it looks like we're going in the right direction. Set up my autopilot and altitude hold. Start losing some altitude. Probably going to see the runway somewhere there to the right. Yeah, there it is. Make a hole in the clouds. So our airfield is there behind us.
Steering to next turn point is in.
Still 7 miles from the runway, which is right there. I'm going to try to line up a little bit better with it before I get the gear down. You can still see the smokes there in the distance from the bombing range. Miles. Reduce the speed, then we'll get our gears down. Gears coming down, flaps. Bit more air brake. Now we're going to add power. Get our feet on the pedals. Like to raise the seat so that I can see better on landing.
Alright, gear, flaps, pressure, warning lights, and anti-skid. 300. 100. Yep, that's going to be a spine replacement by Dr. Pernia.
Just having fun, making fun of my landing. It started pretty well, but the runway, as you probably saw, has a curve in it, so it's kind of hard to determine which spot you're going to land on, and this will have to do. You can see the little parachute there, and of course I can get rid of that like that, and no more parachute. So we're gonna taxi here in a parking space somewhere. I think there are like F-18s parked there from Finland. There's C-130 and F-18s. Something like that. Looks pretty good. It's pretty cold up here up north, though. That's why I hadn't opened the canopy earlier. Could lift my visor up now. There you go.
Roger. Wheel chocks are in.
So we can see that we've got some wheel chocks on the wheels there. I'm going to hear the engines turning off. I just took out my sunglasses from my pocket. As you can see now, I have my aviator glasses on. Because that's very important. I can also remove my helmet. I like the sound effect for that. And then you can see the helmet right there. And then let's ask the ground crew to put the ladder. I have an idea. Let's try the boarding steps, because I always take the ladder. Let's see. Extend. Let's see how that works. There we go, shlook shlook. So now we have the boarding steps from the plane that have been extended. And you can see when I removed my helmet that, oops, yeah, sometimes I get those. You can see that I've got my little hat on, Air Force type of hat. But yeah, we can see the boarding steps a little bit better now. Looks cool. So now, maybe just for fun, since we've done our bombing target, like in terms of the SEAD, and as you can see, there's nothing left here. There's no red left here. What I could do is I have these different targets set up here with different colored smokes. And we could see if we could go drop some bombs on those. So it's been a while since I dropped regular Mark 82s. So maybe I could go into my choose slot, pick the one that has Mark 82s and rock eyes. I guess that would be like 2 different types of bombs I could drop. You can also get some with Mark 83s in my mission. We'll go with Mark 82s and rock eyes. That looks like an interesting setup we could get. And there we go. Through the magic of simulation, we're back in another plane. So this is the plane. On the outer pods, you can see that I have 12 Mark 82s. On the inner pylons, I have like the rock eyes, and in the center I have a fuel tank. So I think what I'll do is I will set up my bombing table for the Mark 82s. Probably I'll drop this from, say, 2,700. Dive angle usually I like 30. To have dive toss, target altitude, I don't know, so I'll have to go check. I think I'll go to the north, so those targets are about 750 feet, 780. Okay, so we'll put 750 as a general reference. I've heard in dive toss, since it uses the radar to calculate things, the target altitude is not as important as in a direct mode, for example, where you would get your reticle dependent on the target altitude, your release altitude, the speed you're going to release it at. It's a lot of things to calculate it. With this, maybe a bit less. Alright, so we've got that. And this. It seems okay. I'll save that.
Yes, sir.
Go with that.
Roger.
So I'll leave this here since this is what I said I would do. 6 bombs, dive toss. These are on the outside. Yes. And of course you want nose and tail so that they'll blow up. Master arm is on. Apparently when you have the centerline fuel tank, it's supposed to be off for takeoff, so let's try to follow procedure. And I think we're good to go.
It's time to fly. Display going to be treetop?
No, I think we'll stay higher this time.
Roger.
Every time he bugs me like that while I'm doing my takeoff or just prior to landing, it sort of makes me do mistakes. Like I was nicely lined up, now I had to realign because I have to talk to Jester, but since he does some good work for me, I won't complain too much.
Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive.
Yeah, we're running it up.
80 knots. 100 knots.
10 degrees up. Let's get this off the ground.
Blast up. Gears moving. Gear up.
Gear up, flaps up. We're heading for those smokes. I like to center my rudders when I'm doing bombing runs so that the bombs don't get too far off course. So one of the things I used to do a lot with the F-18 is to use the rail like that to bring the target like this right in that corner, and when I'm ready to dive, usually I'm going to be at the angle I want. So let's try that.
Steering, the next turn point is in.
Let's try one of those white hangers right there.
And captured.
Arms away. Kaboom. And we have 6 more. So we can do it again on the other one.
And captured.
Kaboom. Now those rock eyes I have will be good for those tents and vehicles. Or for the red smoke where there's armored targets. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to change this to this. This stays the same. I like my rock eyes a little bit more spaced. So let's say 09 there. And we'll drop 4. 4. And so bombing table. Change the bomb type. Come on. Still good.
Wilco.
Set 9er for this.
Okay.
Autopilot off. Now one of the things I just realized is I never really turned on my fuel tank, but it's dead weight, so what I'll do is I'm just going to jettison it. There you go. It's a good practice to do that, and then we'll turn our bombs back on. Just so we're lighter. And so where you see the red smoke, I think I had put some armored targets there. So for the Rockeyes, when I say armored, I mean like BMPs and MTLBs. It's lightly armored vehicles, which these bombs can take out fairly easily. And so now we're in the clouds, but we're going to dive down. Let's zoom in to help the vision. There we go. We see the different target groups.
And captured.
And I want to drop it like right there. Let's see how that does. They fell short. They still got hits though. I find the Rockeyes often hit short, so maybe if I wait a little longer before releasing for the last two bombs. Let's try that. So I spotted this other group of targets there.
Captured.
Yeah, that's better. So you have to drop them from fairly low, so you're going to be more precise. And the steeper the angle, it's almost like a dive bomb at that point. You seem to hit a bit better. Alright, so I think Chester had already switched to the next waypoint. And again, we can bring this one back home. Just gonna check my stream. Seems to be going okay.
Looking like we've got traffic at our 8 o'clock.
Must be the tanker, because there's not much left apart from us two on this map. Oh yeah, I had a gun. I could have used the gun on some targets, but I think we'll just take it home. That's our runway there. Dropping the gear. Power.
Okay, gear, flaps, pressure, warning lights, anti-skid.
Let's see if we can get a landing without a nasty comment from Jester.
500. 300.
Usually he asks me about fuel
100.
right here.
Wow, I guess we should tell the plane captain we need a new undercarriage.
Well, if you're gonna complain with that smooth a landing, I don't know when you're not gonna complain. Especially with this runway. I thought that looked decent. Are there any parkings there? I don't know. Let's go try this. Not gonna go to the big circle. It looks like a place to do donuts with your cars. I'll take this little parking spot right here. There. Pretty good. It's good for a screenshot. And we'll turn the plane off.
Roger.
Yeah, I'm still doing the lazy shutdown. That's what I usually do.
Will chocks are in.
One of the things I want to try though is the cold start. I want to make sure that I learn that because it could be useful. When you go to servers like the Cold War server, Enigma's Cold War server, they usually have planes starting cold, so it's a good thing to learn how to do it. You can cheat by taking the shortcut keys, but it's a good thing to learn to know where the systems are, how to turn something on or off. Oh, and maybe this time we'll just get the ladder. Ground crew. Crew chief. Where's my ladder? There's my ladder. And then we can take the helmet off. And that also puts all those, remove before flight ribbons and the little things that cover antennas and all these good things. So, another fun flight. I hope you enjoyed.